I'm going to let you go first, Kelly.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wanted y'all to meet Boone. This is Boone, and we only get a second because he's so rambunctious. He's one of the ones I'm going to talk about. So, I'm a pet lover and I love the pet stories. I wanted to mention I'm going to talk about, I've got two dogs that are in my life that have benefited from our stuff, but I wanted to tell y'all about this lady named Marcy Littlejohn. And her stories will take you on a journey through. Do y'all remember the Tiger Man that's in prison right now? Everybody probably remembers that story. They made a movie about him. She actually treated one of the baby tigers that were in that facility that he had. So I thought that was crazy. And then she also treated bears and camels and dogs and cats and horses. And so just so you know, this stuff is good for all animals. And what it does for animals, it does for us as well. So we need to remember that part too as we go along here. So the first story I'm going to tell you is my dad's dog Patches. I posted a little video of him yesterday because Patches has had he's a Aussie mix, and he's had hip issues since he was a baby. And the other day, well, about a month ago, I was over at my dad's house, and Patches was holding his left leg up and crying and walking like he was in pain. And I thought, oh my gosh. And then I was like, oh man, I should try our pet relief and see if it would help him. So I asked my dad if I could, and we ordered him some pet relief. And within 4 days, Patches was running around like he had no pain. And I videoed him yesterday running across the yard and jumping over this fence. And I was just astounded by the difference in that dog. And he's been on pet relief for, I'm sorry, I have to remember what they're called because I'm still new here. But he's been on that one for 2 weeks, and it has made a huge difference in his pain. So just so you know, that stuff works wonders. And then my puppy dog has always had problems with allergies. And we buy special food and we do all the do's for this dog. And he's always had problems with his ears itching and scratching and licking. And so we put him on the Pet Defender, which is the same thing as our Cell Defender, except it's chicken flavored. And I mean, it has made a huge difference in his allergies. He's not scratching and itching, and he just acting like a regular dog now. So we were giving him the tummy vitamins and all the stuff and spending all this money. And we're actually getting off cheaper now with Pet Defender. So we're real believers in it. And my girlfriend Lisa's not here. Just so you know, her mom had a kitty cat. So I thought I would just drop her kitty cat story here right quick
Yeah,
and share
absolutely.
with y'all. Yeah, because her little kitty cat, I mean, I can't tell you exactly what was wrong, but this little kitty cat had been ill most of its life, as I understand from Lisa, and his little eyes and his nose ran all the time, and the vets had him on prednisone and all kinds of things trying to get him, better. But they had pretty much told her mom that he'd probably end up with diabetes and probably wouldn't live all that long. Well, she took him off of all that stuff and put him on the Pet Defender, and he's thriving. She did a video of him, and he's the all the runny eyes and nose are gone, and he's actually walking around the house purring and acting, just fine. So anyway, if you have a pet and you have any problems at all, you should try this. So anyway, I'm real happy with it.
Appreciate that, Kelly. We did have a couple of quick questions. Can you just talk about how often that you're giving it and how much?
Yeah,
How many times a day? And
yeah. They
for both
recommend.
the relief and the defender.
Yeah, it goes by the weight, so it depends. Like my daughter, That's another pet story I have. She has a giant schnauzer. Mine's a mini, and he and she their dog, Tess, has had sores on her head and itching for, months and months. And they started her on the Defender, the cell defender for dogs. And those sores are going away. So, but anyway, it all depends on the weight of the dog and as to how much you give them. Boone gets a fourth of a teaspoon, which is like about a dime size in the morning and in the evening. And Tess gets a half a teaspoon in the morning and the evening. So it depends on that. And it's the same with the pain too. But you also have to remember that once you get those things under control, you can scale back to the point where you maintain, just by doing it yourself. So sometimes you might want to start out a little more than that. I told Casey and Michael to add some of our human drops in with Tess for a little while and see if that wouldn't help speed her process up. But so the pets can also get the human cell defender. So, but anyway,
Awesome. Appreciate that.
yeah.
Sometimes I don't have pets, but I've thought, man, why didn't they put chicken flavor in ours too? Right?
I don't know. I don't think
Kind of
I'm
makes
going to
me
try
jealous.
it. I'm not going to try it. I won't be telling you that one.
As much as I want to, I'm not going to either. I don't know.
No.
I'm game. I'll try it.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
let us know.
We're gonna hold her to
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Kelly.
Yeah.
We're going to jump over and grab Tina now, and Tina's going to talk about a couple of different testimonials she has. But
Okay, so real quick, I just want to say I have these four Great Danes. Um, they're very rambunctious. They go out behind our house and they just run. They take off and run every direction. They're out of control. So they go, over rocks and branches and all kinds of, debris back there, and I never know where they're going. Well, and they've injured themselves a couple times in the past. So this one time, just last week, my dog Rudy, when he came home, he laid on the bed and he was just not wanting to get up, and I didn't know why. So I went over to see what was wrong with him, and I found his whole toenail on the bed. The toenail had literally come out of his foot. It wasn't like it broke off somewhere. The whole toenail came out of his foot. So all that was left was just like this little nub, kind of bloody nub. And he was licking his foot, and I'm like, oh no, shoot, I don't want to have to go to the vet because we all know how expensive it is to go to a vet these days. So I brought him downstairs, and my husband was downstairs. So we thought, well, let's put some of the colloidal silver on it. So we did, and that's all we did that day was put colloidal silver. The next day he got up and he was limping and he was not eating his food. When I gave him some food, he would try to eat a little bit and he would throw it up because that's what dogs do when they're injured. They can't keep food down. So, the entire day, he was limping, but I thought, well, why don't I put some of the cell defender on? Because I didn't have any of the pet products, which I know I need to get them and have them on hand at all times, but I didn't have any of the pet products. So I went ahead and said, well, why don't I just give him some cell defender? And then I also put some of the cell defender on his toe. And then a little while later, after it dried up, I put some of the pain relief. So I had the pain relief, luckily. Thank God I got the whole pack that had all the products because, I wouldn't have had this. I wouldn't have ordered it. So I had it on hand and I put that on his toe. This toe was so swollen, so red. It was huge. It was about as huge as his foot. It was scary looking. So, he still whimpered around that rest of that day. The next morning we get up and he wasn't really limping at all. Like he wasn't limping. So I put some more of the cell defender spray on it, some more of the pain spray on it. And by the end of the day, when I take them out for their walk, he was walking normally. The dog was walking normally. So I picked up his foot and I looked at his toe, and that thing was down to normal size, and it wasn't red. It wasn't swollen or red anymore. It looked like a normal toe again. I'm like, what in the world is in this stuff? That is crazy. So from that time on, he's eating his food. He wasn't throwing it up anymore. He's running around and playing like a normal dog does, out with all his, with his sisters and his three sisters and with two sisters and his mother dog. So I was just so grateful. I could not believe that we were not going to have to take him to a vet because that is how bad it was. So I know that I need to have all of my pet products on me. Now I need to order them. So that was a mistake
Awesome.
not to have them. But actually, but you know what? The cell defender and the nano spray and the pain spray, they all work just fine. And he's just fine now.
That's
Not limping.
awesome.
Yeah. I'm
That's awesome.
very thankful and grateful. I will never be without these products. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
I want to have you shift gears because I I know that you know that your husband is working and he had some results with the plus relief. And so if you could just tell that story real quick, just a couple minutes.
Yeah, sure. So he went to LA to work on a commercial and he's staying with my mom and dad while he's out there. And he worked for about a week and then he texted me and he said, I'm not doing too good. And I'm like, what, are you sick? And he goes, no, my back is like killing me. He's like, I can barely move. I don't know what to do. He's like, I've tried to put my belt on, like, those weightlifter belts, just so because they lift a lot of stuff in the movie industry, a lot of stuff. So he's always lifting stuff all day long. So he put on one of the weight belts and he said that wasn't really helping at all. He didn't know what he was going to do. And I said, okay, this is what I got to do. I've got to like try to see if I can overnight use some of the pain products from Avini. He's like, you really think those are going to work? I said, yeah. I said, this is a good test. This is going to work. So I did. I went online and they didn't have overnight, but they had 2 day, but it was on the weekend, so it actually took 3 days to get there. So he got the products and he put them on the next day, which is today, because he just got them yesterday. Today he texted me and said, I'm feeling so much better now. He's like, I can't believe it. These products are working. I put it on yesterday and I didn't have hardly any pain at all. He said it was so much better than the Advil and the not Advil, I'm sorry, Motrin and the arthritis formula that my mother gave him to take. He said that hardly did anything, but when he used the spray and the gel, he said it took his pain away, like almost all of it. He's very happy because
Wow.
I can't afford for him not to work. He was at the point that said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this job. And I said, all right, I'm sending you some product because you are going to finish this job. So that's exciting stuff. Gosh, I just can't
Absolutely.
even. I'm blown
Absolutely.
away. Yeah.
Amazing. We appreciate you coming on and sharing tonight. And
Oh, can I tell you one more pain
yeah,
story just real quick?
yeah,
I'll make it very
absolutely.
quick. I had a very bad infection in my tooth. It was just extremely severe. My friends all said they had the same thing and they had to get their a root canal and my son had it. He had to get a tooth removed. I just said, no way, no way am I getting a root canal, and I'm not getting my tooth removed. So I started. This is before I had the Avini product, so I just started using all the stuff that I had, and I even had some ivermectin. I took that. It took it down extremely well, but there was just this lingering pain that would not go away when I bite down and chew. It just lingering. It wasn't terrible, but it just lingered, and it lingered for like a month. And I thought, is this ever going to go away? So long story short, I got the Avini products in. I started taking the Cell Defender, and within 2 days, that went from about a 90% like better, like 10% pain, to like a 99.9999. Like I could barely feel anything at all. Even when I tried to like bite down and tried to feel some pain, I could hardly feel any pain. You could tell there was something still lingering, but now it's 100% gone. And the
That's
only
awesome.
thing I changed was the Cell Defender.